Alright guys, what is going on? Oink here, and today we got some brand new seasonal events. It's Thursday of course, and we have the Japanese 90s challenge in their brand new set of events for us to do. Now, as usual, I'm going to cover all of these events, and I'll go straight into our entry requirements for this week's events. A maximum performance points of 450, maximum tyres of Sport Hard, years has to be between 1990 and 1999, so any car in the 90s, and it has to come from Japan. Now, if I go through the tracks, we've got a Tsukuba circuit, a Suzuka East, a Trial Mountain, Capering South, is it? Yeah, Capering South, and finally a Toscana change time custom for the final. My car of choice is the Acura, I guess that's how you say it, NSX from 1991. Obviously, we're maxing out on sports hard tyres. This car, by the way, can be purchased relatively cheap from the premium dealership, so easy to get hold of. And this one is stock at the dealership, had no miles on it. You can see I've taken the manifold and the racing exhaust, sports ECU, and that took me, I think, like 1 or 2 performance points over, so I added a bit of ballast, and then because this was brand new, each time I did a race it increased by a horsepower or 2, so after each race I was just toning down the power just to keep it in line with the performance points limit. So we start on Tsukuba then, of course, and I'm going to come out and say it, that once again this is a very easy set of events. You'll notice I didn't set any tuning, I didn't even get any of the clutch upgrades. Actually, speaking of which, if you are finding this one difficult, now I personally thought this set of events was really a bit of a pushover, but if by any means you are struggling, I didn't do any tuning. It was all stock, all like the stock suspension, everything was stock except from the power upgrades that I picked up. So if you really need some time, then pick up those clutch upgrades, because the clutch is really slow on this car. I don't know why, but shifting out of first and out of second is quite a slow ordeal. So you can find a lot of time if you get those non-performance points based upgrades. So by all means, give that a shot if you are struggling. Otherwise, I mean, like I said, I found this set very easy. You can see there's my first lap. I'm taking first just at the beginning of lap 4. I'm hitting about 105s, it seems, is my sort of normal lap, and I finish up the race there, I think on a 106. And we'll move on to Suzuka now. We don't get Suzuka East very often, I guess. Well, it's a really short track actually, and I don't know, I guess it takes out most of the fun of Suzuka just doing the East circuit, but I don't know, it's good fun. It's nice for the slightly lower performance cars, because obviously Suzuka can be feel quite like a long track, even if it's, you know, not that long, just because it's quite technical, and in a slow car you do tend to have to take it quite slow around all the bends here. But basically, just, you know, keep your line. This car will understeer quite heavily on this track, and Tsukuba it will also understeer a fair amount, so just maybe use second in through the S's and take it nice and slow. Just make sure you're hitting the apexes, focus on those apexes, and hit those, and you should find it nicely sits into the corner. But yeah, just watch out for a bit of understeer on this one here. But other than that, again, it should be very easy. There's my first lap. As you can see, it wasn't perfect to hit a 1 minute 1 second. Taken first, actually a little bit later on here, sort of coming sort of into the S's on lap 5 out of 6. But yeah, I mean, still not struggling to win, as you can see, and finish the race hitting 59. So we'll move straight into Trial Mountain. Now this car just like fits like a glove with this track. It seems to just completely remove all of the understeer problems that it has in general. You might find it understeering just very slightly in some of the corners, but for the most part it really just kind of sits nicely into every single corner, and you just get the right amount of oversteer that to just sort of, I don't know, it just kind of picks up the corners nicely, like it turns in beautifully. The back spins out just a tiny bit, and you can kind of power through the corners. It's just really good fun. I often find this with Trial Mountains, like, I don't know, just some cars just suit it really nicely. This is definitely one of them. Despite this being a relatively easy seasonal event. I don't know. I find it was quite good fun. I had fun driving this car, and these tracks seemed quite enjoyable. It was quite sort of a little sort of fun, slower event. But yeah, definitely had fun with these. And you'll find again with Trial Mountain, I should say, not the most challenging events. Whilst we're just coming to the end of the lap, I don't really have that much to say about Trial Mountain, so I'm just going to add a quick note. I'm actually going to try some in-video programming for this video. Now, basically what you'll see is there'll actually be clickable buttons on the screen. So along the top, if you actually click on the track, the different pictures of the track, it'll take you to the start of the lap for that track. Similarly, you can click on the car, that will take you to the setup, and the writing in the bottom right will take you to the event information. So you can kind of navigate around the video if you want to sort of skip around, or if you're revisiting the video, then you can use those just to navigate slightly faster. But yeah, I'm gonna give that a go. See, let me know what you think about that. I think that should be pretty awesome. You can see there one Trial Mountain again pretty easily. And moving into Capering. Now this is the slightly shorter south circuit of Capering, but nonetheless Capering's not the easiest of tracks. Actually, it's kind of one of those ones where you have to kind of figure out the apexes and the turn-ins and stuff. Like, it kind of flows a little bit strangely, I find sometimes, and you've just kind of, I don't know, just take a second you know, the first couple of laps just to kind of feel the braking points and the turn-ins and things like that, and yeah, once you get a feel for it, then it can start to flow a bit nicer. Just watch out on the very slow hairpins like these when you go into gear 1, that you don't ram the accelerator down straight away, because you might find that the car just over rotates very slightly. It seems to change behaviour quite a lot when you're at very low speeds. So yeah, just that is one thing to note. In fact, on this first lap, I did have a bit of a mess up coming into this last chicane, I'm talking about this final hairpin right at the end, so I've just sort of edited into a slightly better one, so you can see a nice line through there. Just brake early and then sort of double apex that one, because it's kind of like a square ended corner, so just double apex and accelerate nicely out the other side. And that's sort of one complete lap. You can see you taking first at the beginning of lap 3, kind of tuck in between those two cars. That was a nice little move. But yeah, beginning of lap 3, again, loads and loads of time to spare on this one. If you're wondering why I got a horrible time on that last lap, I just, I don't know, started drifting or something, I'm not quite sure, but yeah, it didn't go so well. And we'll finish up with Toscana. Now this is by quite some margin the hardest of the three, not mostly because it actually has the time change on it, and it's very fast time change. Like, you start off like this, so I'm going to actually show a whole lap in the day, and then I'll show a bit in the night. So basically it'll go from what seems like pretty much in the middle of the day, and then all of a sudden it will be pitch black. Like, it's crazy, and it's not difficult. It's not easy when it goes dark. If you pay attention to the track on your first lap, try and remember the corners. It's pretty difficult when you're doing the track by ear, so to say. You know, if this is the first time actually on the track and then it suddenly goes pitch black and you're trying to figure out which way is which, it's definitely not easy. I had to do this twice just because I couldn't see where I was going, basically. At the end of lap 1, your headlights will turn on. Well, you can always turn them on earlier if you want. I just have mine set to automatically turn on. But yeah, at the end of lap 1 is when it will start to get dark and your lights will come on. Now, I personally, I don't know, I think it was just because my TV is near my window, and because it's quite bright outside, it had a little bit of glare, and when it got dark, I quite literally couldn't see a thing. I'm not even joking, I was almost driving just by looking at where the little map on the left hand side was, because I just couldn't see the track whatsoever. Like, at the last minute I'd see it swerving off to the right, and you know, it was too late by then. And sometimes it has arrows that your headlights will reflect off. Those do help a little bit, so try and keep an eye on those. That will give you sort of a bit of advanced warning. But it is really dark out here. There's no headlights or anything except on the main straight. I actually had to close my curtains so that the room was dark, so that I got a slight better. So the backlight from the TV sort of made it slightly easier for me to see where I was going. but I didn't have an easy time, that is for sure. I wish they would do more events like this. They really need to make better use. Look at that beautiful sunset with the car like silhouetted. That was amazing. Anyway, they really need to make more events like this. These are quite fun. It's kind of like challenging, not because the AI are challenging, just because you can't see where the bloody hell you're going, and I think that's kind of funny. I really enjoyed it. You can see here, by this point it's already getting hard to see like where the entrance to the corner is until sort of, you know, 20 meters to go or something. Maybe just take it a bit slower. You can see I take first. Actually, this is 5 seconds into lap 3, so right at the start of lap 3. But that's, you know, it's not to say it's easy by any means. You will just have to pay attention, take it a little bit slower, maybe learn the track a bit. But yeah, good fun last track. Hope you enjoy this seasonal event. Hope you enjoyed the video. And again, remember to leave some feedback on what you think of the sort of in-video programming that will be there, and if that's at all helpful. Anyway, I'll see you guys soon. Peace.